One of the nation's top-rated high schools can go ahead with its new admissions plan, even though a community group says it discriminates against Asian Americans. The Supreme Court declining to block that policy late yesterday. NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams joining me now. Pete, we are talking about Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology in Fairfax, Virginia. Tell us about this case and their admissions policy.
Sure. That's a school just outside Washington, D.C. here. And what it did a couple of years ago was change its admission policy because it said it wanted to get a more diverse student body. So it did away with the demands for 3 rigorous standardized tests, and it substituted instead that students had to take a heavy course load of serious subjects, and then the school would engage in what it called a holistic review to look at a student's background. And what the parents that sued here said today is that that was racial balancing. And they noted that the number of Asian Americans at the school dropped from 65% down to 54%. So they went to court and sued here in federal court just outside Washington. And a federal judge agreed with them. He said this is unconstitutional and the school can't use this revised policy. So the school appealed to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the appeals court put that ruling on hold, so that freed up the school to go back and use its new program. And the parents then went to the Supreme Court and said, hey, we want you to put that lower court order back in place so the school can't use its revised program. And that's what the Supreme Court has refused to do. So that's a long way around the bush, but that's what's happened here. The Supreme Court is not going to interfere at this point. So for now, the federal judge's order remains on hold, and the Thomas Jefferson High School can use its new admissions program that Asian American parents say is not good for them.
Pete, any explanation from the justices or any disagreement among them? What else did you hear?
No, at this stage, the court simply issues an order. Okay. No, we're not going to grant this stay that you wanted. But yes, there was some disagreement noted. 3 of the justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch, said they would have agreed with the Asian American parents and would have allowed the court ruling to go back into effect. But there's never any explanation. So this is not a decision on the merits. The Supreme Court is not saying who they think is right or wrong here. They're simply declining to take this up. And they usually don't take these things up at such a preliminary stage.
Pete, admissions policies, diversity, a hot topic right now. The Supreme Court will look at the practice on the college level next term. Could you tell us about that?
Yes, the use of race in school admissions and the affirmative action to take that into account has always been played out in the Supreme Court, or almost always at the college level. And the Supreme Court in the last couple of terms has said that schools can consider an applicant's race in order to get diversity in the student body. The diversity has an educational benefit. The Supreme Court is going to come back and look at that question again next term in a case from Harvard University and North Carolina. And it may do so without the vote of the newest justice. Ketanji Brown Jackson said during her confirmation hearing that because she's on a policy advisory board for Harvard, she may have to sit this case out. The big difference here is that the Supreme Court in the past has allowed schools to use race as a factor in affirmative action decisions, but 2 of the justices who voted that way are now gone, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Kennedy, replaced by more conservative justices. And there's every reason to think that the use of affirmative action in school admissions at the college level, its days may be numbered.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.